Welcome back to Let's Talk Sis with your girl Tameca. We are here with some awesome people today that I'm really excited about. Let me tell you how you can find us first. You can find Let's Talk Sis on centralcityradio.com, which is where we're at now. Go to podcasts, and Let's Talk Sis is the name of the station. Facebook, you can find me at Tameca Howell, Tameca Howell. Put some respect on my name, just saying. Instagram, Tameca8, and then Yahoo is TamecaHowell@yahoo.com. So I am going to introduce the people that we have today. We had to bring back from last week. We got a lot of good reviews last week, so I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Once again, it's Mr. Convo, Mr. 585, Flip the Convo.
Tell them how to find you.
You can find me at Instagram, fliptheconvo.com. You can also find me on Facebook at the same name, Mr. Convo 585.
So also my parents are in the building. I know if you listen to my podcast, I always shout them out when I'm talking about anything that has to do with how we were raised, because I always talk about how most people have been parented but not raised. And that's the whole thing. The Bible say raise them in the way that you want them to go and they'll never depart from it. And so I just, sometimes you got to give people their flowers while they're on earth. So I took this time since y'all was here to now bring y'all on the podcast so everybody can see who I've been talking about all this time. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Ernest Howell.
And I'm Johnny Howell, the wife.
And that's
and we're here from South Carolina to visit our people. And we had an awesome time since we've been here. We got a couple more days to go.
They was visiting everybody but their own kids. See how they do? They come in town and because listen, what I will tell you about my parents is they adopt everybody their kids. So if they done adopted all the people. So I guess I'm not going to be jealous. However, I think I need more days than what they get. I'm just saying.
Sounds like you're a little jealous.
I'm not jealous, but sometimes you be greedy is a good word. That's fine. And you be protective of yours. You understand? Because how do they get? You understand what I'm saying?
To figure out how that works.
I'm trying to make it work to where it don't sound greedy, selfish /
It's not working.
Oh, okay, well.
Okay, I'm going to bust in here for a minute, the mom, and say this. It's not so much that others get more attention than my children do. This particular trip was for someone else, and they're getting the benefit of that.
There you go.
But I do come out here about 3-4 times a year, so.
If it's my birthday, you should have just came. Okay, anyway, let's go.
Okay.
So let's talk about. I just want to update everybody because I don't go back about the last, but I do continue want to talk about the death of my son's best friend. And so we went to the funeral yesterday, and it was just sad to look around. There's some things that I want to talk about as it relates to us getting ourselves together in our community. Mm-hmm. But I looked around, I didn't see most of the parents weren't there. I understand that these kids is 17, 16. Some of them might have been 18. But where was their parents at? I was very confused. I looked around. This is, they go to the viewing. It's hard. My son couldn't even, he walked up and walked right back away, broke down. I don't see any parents. So I'm the only parent out there comforting those kids out there. Where was their parents at?
That's the big issue right there.
Where, is that weird?
The kids are raising themselves, so who knows where the parents are? I don't even
know.
Back
to nature and nurturing. I think last week we talked about parents nurturing and being there for the kids.
I guess when you have something that's normal to you, you don't realize that that's not normal to everybody. Because what I can say about mine was that they were there. Now, I ain't saying it was all beautiful and peaches and creams and everything, because there's always some stuff. But when you get older, you got to pay homage, because I don't remember having to go through any situations by myself. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
So, but I also, these kids play football. And so my question was, where was the coaches? Shouldn't they have been there too?
Coaches should have definitely been there. I know when I was coming up in the sports and everything, our coaches was everywhere. Classrooms, homes, practice. They want to see a copy of your report card, or you going to do extra suicides. I ain't going to kick you off the team.
But you're going to do some extra.
Yeah, I'm going to teach you a lesson. You're going to stay and finish your job.
They weren't there. I can't wait to talk to them about how they were not there, because somebody has to advocate for these kids, and that's a problem for me.
And they'll sell them to try to go to school and get these college names up, but you won't help them through the difficult times. That's bad.
I already had an issue when they weren't there for the vigil. Because I'm looking around, I'm nosy. And I have a question, like, where's the coaches? Especially when you go to their meetings and they say they want to be this for the kids and this for the kids, but at the moment where they needed them, they weren't there. So my question is, where are the adults that are supposed to help these children manage through life?
Yeah, you look at, if you ever seen the movie Coach Carter with Samuel L. Jackson, see, he was involved in all those kids' lives. If you didn't cut the mustard, he'll bring you in there. But like you said, he'll make you work that extra. You get them grades up, or you don't play. You can sit on the bench all day long and look at us play. But when Damari was really talking when he was really getting good at football, his coaches was everywhere. And he was just, they told him, hey, keep it up. Keep your grades up. Stay out of trouble. And, you would go places, because I remember back in the days when I was going to school, they had somebody to do your homework
Long
for you.
ago.
If you was good.
Yes, sir.
They had somebody do your homework for you.
And they pass you through. They pass you through grades. Then I don't think they can do it as easy as they did it before. And now that it doesn't even make sense to do that, because now they got to go to college. If they want to get in the NFL, they got to go to university for 3 years before they can even get drafted. But Damari did have some really good coaches in his Pop Warner years, I call them. But since he got into high school, I don't know what's wrong with them people over there. He got one more year.
There's no passion in the coaching right now.
No.
To be a coach, you also have to wear many hats. You got to be a mentor. Sometimes you got to go down to their level and tell them how it really is. Sometimes you got to be a friend. Sometimes you got to be the transporter. You just got to wear a lot of hats and just know that, it's not only about the sports. It's about making a difference in that man's life or that girl's life. It's about teaching them some morals and some values so they can take that on to the next step. It's not just about right now. You have to coach for the future.
I was watching what is it called? Remember the Titans with Denzel last night, and one thing that I took out of that is I always talk about relationships. So the relationship, he was saying you got to build this relationship because teamwork makes the dream work. You got to build this relationship first, then y'all can go move as a team, move as a united front. And in our community, we do not move as a united front. What I will say about my family, something if you talk about leaving a legacy, I always tell people what we were not going to do is disrespect family. Like we were going to be a family. I don't care. We can fight on a Monday, and if my mama said come together on a Tuesday, guess what? And when I say fight, it wasn't dragged down. It was maybe somebody got a little irritated or whatever. But we couldn't just be fighting and talking about each other. And
not in my house.
None of that happened. But however, we as kids you get into it or whatever. Somebody done got on your nerves. But I bet on a Tuesday, you better be where she said be, how she said be as family. So all of us operate like that. So when people talk about leave a legacy, they always talk about money, but leaving a legacy is the ideas and the ideologies and the mindsets that you want to pass down. And that's something about family. We got something that happened in our family with this one family member, and everybody mad at him because of something that happened, because that's not how we typically do things, right? He's still family, but that's not how we get down. So when I think about a legacy, this is what we're going to talk about today. So today, here's my topic, is the importance of family support as you growing up, support from and that should be from your mother and father. So my mother and father will be married 50 years next year.
Congratulations.
I've been saying 50 years for the past 3 years, so 50. Whoo, y'all old. Y'all old.
You know what? This is making me smile. Yo. This is making me smile, y'all.
But 50 years is a lot of years. And let me tell y'all something. When I say 50 years, I don't remember a lot of breakups. Like, you know how some people say, oh, we've been together 50 years and y'all ain't seen each other for 15 and then y'all got back together. We didn't have those. So, 50 years is a long time. So we're going to talk about the importance of that influence in your life, how it changes the way you think, how you grow up, all that stuff. And then we also going to ask them, how do we even get there? Because we can barely get to 1 year in a relationship. Listen, I tell people this all the time. I have so many people trying to tell me something about relationship, but they don't have any. I mean, how you gonna tell me and you didn't do it? You understand what I'm talking about? Even in my dating experiences lately, like they say that I'm crazy, but I don't believe I am. I'm my mother's child, so I'm not gonna let people just You know how you know we was growing up. Was you on us or was you not on us?
I was on you.
Was you? It don't matter if you did it day 1 or day 10.
Right. I was on you.
Day 1 or day 10. And if it's something you don't like, you should supposed to talk about it. Is that something that I learned from you, or am I just making us the?
No.
They don't like that, man. They don't
like that.
We all
talk about it.
They be telling me how it's not like we don't even know each other that well. But if I accept it today, then it's gonna happen day 2, day 10, day 30 year. So I hardly ever be in relationships because it was hard having this example and then coming over here and getting this. I'm quick to be like, I'm good. Right? If people don't notice it, but I'll be out. But now, as an older adult, I might need to have some longevity. I might need to accept a few little things. But it's really hard, Mom. You know, when you see, and it's like, no, my dad didn't do that. My mama didn't do that. I don't understand. Like even some of my songs that I want to put on here today for y'all is I remember fighting. Right? So we don't know they fighting until the songs come on. Do you understand? It wasn't no yelling and screaming. Right. It wasn't no yelling and screaming. And if they did, we wasn't
put
around.
Song on you.
So I'm going to tell you 2 songs. There's 2 particular songs that I know now that I'm a grown adult. Because I was like, oh, they was fighting through songs. Nobody was on the couch. Nobody was. That's not how that went.
No.
But y'all was fighting through them songs. Okay, you said making up through the songs?
Making up. Right.
Making up. Y'all going to see the songs I'm talking about. But so, let me play my first song. Y'all ready? Y'all
Let's
not
go.
ready for. Y'all not ready for.
In. Let's go.
Ready for. But music do you think music? While we going, does music have an impact on? Do you think it has an impact on how children see life or view life?
Yes.
I can see it through all of y'all because all the music that we was listening to, I hear it when I go to your house or Michelle's house or Chavina's house. I be saying.
Even the grandkids sometimes.
They playing what we used to play.
However, here's the key thing. There was certain music they could not play.
Yeah.
We're not gonna listen to that down in the woman and calling her all out her name and what you gonna do in the bed to her and all. We're not hearing that. That's not what we're gonna listen to. Now we're gonna listen to something that has a good story or can help you get past some things. That's what we're going to listen to. That has a good message, a positive message. We can listen to that, and it's out there. Well, it used to be out there.
Listen,
it used to be out there. So that's what we're going to listen to. And here was another key thing. I don't care. On a Sunday morning, we're not turning on the TV and we're not listening to that.
Lord,
this is what we're going to listen to on Sunday morning. Now. In the evening time, you can have
No, we couldn't.
Okay, well, maybe not on Sunday. You have to wait till Monday.
And then on Saturday, we was waking up at 5 in the morning talking about Rise and Shine at 5 in the morning and listening to all of the, that's when records was out. So we listened to all the records.
As you clean.
But then not just but look at what that did for your soul. Look at what that did for your soul. You ain't even notice you was spending time doing what you was doing. You was just out there just getting it. Okay,
no.
Bacon frying, you got the bleach smell and everything.
Exactly. You got the brush for the baseball.
Yeah. You got the 409 Mr. Clean in there too. Don't be mixing that stuff. You find out when you start cleaning though. Yeah. You'll learn quick.
Gases and stuff. However, yes, those was my childhood, and I was talking to somebody and they said, yeah, my mom was cooking Sunday dinner. I said, oh, we done got far away from that. But see, another thing about eating out, we right now, because we're supposed to go out after this to eat, and we having a dilemma because I don't eat out that often, but we didn't eat out. That's not normal. We had home cooked meals. We had that one meal every single, like my mom would cook a lot on Sunday. Whew. And we had to eat the leftovers for the next 2 days.
Oh yeah, that's
that.
Lunch.
What's that spaghetti and that chili? I'm good.
Lunch.
I'm good. What you say? Skeezer don't eat.
He don't eat the spaghetti. He don't eat spaghetti.
Ain't nobody doing all of that. But we had to learn how to cook on the other days as well. You understand? But we wasn't out at McDonald's. That was a treat for us to be doing that. So I think those are things that we get away from. Do people even sit? And we had to sit at the table. Do people still sit at the table?
That's right.
So those are the when we talk about Matt. See, I was going to my song, but listen real quick. Well, yeah, let me, since we're here. But we go to Maslow's hierarchy of basic needs, what we need to be the best us. The first thing he talks about is your psychological needs: your food, your water, your warmth, and your rest. We had all food, we had water, we had warmth, and we better go to sleep at 6:30. I used to be like, but the sun ain't even went down yet.
7 o'clock.
6:30 and 7 is the same. The sun was not even down. I mean, can the sun be down before we have to go to sleep? But we was rested.
You need your rest.
We was rested. So here go the first song that I'm gonna here go my first song. Let's see. Y'all ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let me get to it.
You should have that thing queued up.
It's you too. Y'all know I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody come help me with what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm not savvy on this. No, I got it now. I'm just talking about to have it queued up.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't gonna have it queued up because I don't know.
I was gonna help you out, but you got it.
Whose song was that then? That wasn't y'all song?
That was our song.
Whose song?
That's everybody's song. If you,
but that's Big Luther. That's Big Luther. But that was the song when you knew. Well, as a kid, you don't know. You just think you listening to music, but people ain't talking to each other, right? And then you hear that song, right? So here go the other side to the song. Y'all ready for it?
I think I almost know what this one's gonna be. I knew it. Betty Wright.
There it is. Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Talk to me.
I think every one of my children know this song.
Hey. What y'all know about that? Let's bring back some of that.
I never had the courage to come back to you. We're all entitled to make a mistake. We got to prepare for some heartbreak. I was earning my man
while I was learning my man. That's so deep.
Young girls might not understand. No pain,
no pain,
no pain,
no pain,
no gain,
no gain,
no pain,
no pain,
no pain, no pain, no gain.
So listen.
No gain.
We gonna turn that off when we get into it. But so anyway, we was talking about, I think last night we was having a conversation about songs and how music can definitely shape the way you, like when I hear these songs, of course that's a good space for me. And I didn't, when you're younger you don't hear the words, but she said, listen, I was learning my man while I was earning my man. She said some of you young girls might not. I was like, okay,
right.
No pain, no gain. Well, I don't need a whole lot of pain, but we can go through the, listen, I'll just try to live my life.
The pain. No, we don't need the pain, but pain is what got us here.
Yeah.
Because it taught us to kind of forgive, get past it. Nobody's perfect. And I'm going to say this while I got a moment. In your relationship, especially marriage, there is a lot of overlooking. There's a lot of forgiving. That's what gets you over those things. And I always say this when I minister to anybody, when they start thinking about leaving that relationship because they're looking somewhere else.
Girl.
Don't jump over that fence. That grass is not green.
At all.
That's quicksand painted green. Go ahead and jump. You may sink.
Ooh.
That's all I'm going to say.
So we were talking about, you have a picture in your house. We was talking about the what is love scripture. And I was saying that, well, not scripture. I was just saying that this is what God says love is. He said love is patient and kind. It does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It's not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices within the truth. So one thing that this one doesn't say is that it doesn't hold account of the wrongs done to it. That doesn't mean we don't address them for solutions. That means that we just don't dwell in that thing. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
I mean, I who am I to speak about a marriage relationship? However, the characteristics of a relationship are the same. It's just the kind of time you spend with. You still have to have commitment, right?
Right.
Do we have to have trust?
Yes.
Do we have to have, remember we talked last week about dialogue versus debating.
Yes.
We have to be able to dialogue about some stuff. We have to be able to forgive some stuff. I think that was one of your things about, you said forgetting, but I said, well, you talking about us forgiving. Because I think forgetting about something and forgiving something is two different things.
It's two different things. Absolutely.
Forgiving.
I think if somebody don't have God within them, see, when my mama come here, I gotta start talking this way. But when people don't have God within them, I don't think that it's easy to I think forgiveness is a supernatural thing, because some of them deep hurts, I mean, you can tell yourself that, but you just need God to come and say, come on now, let me help you heal that heart part of you, because there's some things that have happened in my life that it took me healing to even be able to see the beauty in what happened, or the beauty of the circumstances that I was in.
It's hard because you don't find the beauty until after the end of the road, almost after you done sat and thought about it and figured everything out, and just trying new things not for the other person, for yourself.
Yeah. But I think that what if we actively make sure that we pay attention to what we're doing as we're doing it? Then we can see the beauty as we're going through it. Does that make sense? Because sometimes we just be going through the rigmarole and you're not thinking through that thing. So sometimes you got to step back and say, let me see what's going on. But listen. What would you guys say? What would you say how did you stay committed? How did you stay for this long? What can you tell? I know you just talked about forgiveness and all that stuff, but what else can we do from both sides? How did this last almost 49 years in July, right?
49 years in June 30th.
June. Why do I always say
so
July?
let me say this first, and this is where I think a lot of people lose track. You first, when you commit to a marriage, you really need to understand. People say these vows. You have to understand what you're saying. You said better or worse, sickness or in health, good times and bad times. So here's the thing, and I've learned this for myself. God will take me through anything. However, he never said things was going to be peaches and rosy, and I'm just going to address me, and then I was going to be perfect at it, and I wasn't going to have any faults. Okay? But I always reel myself back in, even when I thought I wanted to leave. Yes, hear me. There were times when I thought I wanted to leave, I still had to go back to him and understand what I said and what I committed to. Now, it's hard going through it, but I will say this. There is another side of it. You just got to get through it. It's hard. I will agree, it's hard. There's a lot of tears and all of that. But I did make a commitment. Now, I'm not saying that we have to take anything, but I do say we need to step back at times and think it through. Again, I go back to what I said. Things may look like they're going to be better over there. And you get over there and you start sinking. It's like, I should have stayed where I was.
Listen, I think I had some come to Jesus moments
but
recently.
But if you work through it,
like, whoa.
And I want to say one other thing. I know, I'm sorry. But let me just say this.
We want to hear from the husband.
Okay, I'm going to get to him. But I want to say this. When, you know how on your phone you may have one bar. Mm-hmm. And you need to call somebody because you're in trouble.
Yes.
You may be stranded, car broke down, or whatever. My children love their mama. Mm-hmm. I know that.
I'm not calling.
Let me tell you what they're going to do.
Stranded.
That's my mama calling. I'll call her back in a little while, or I'll call her back later. Let me tell you what he going to do. Mm-hmm. That's my wife calling. I'm answering. And then he going to take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is.
You know what?
So hold on, I'm sorry. So being secure is very important with that other person that you choose, right? Being secure because you know that he's gonna take that and vice versa.
I can trust him.
So we all can. Don't let me listen. I post on Facebook something wrong with my car. Next thing I know, my dad talking about what's the problem. Where I think he learned how to fix some cars dealing with us. I was like, you know how to fix the radiator? Come on there. I remember out that time we was out there with that serpentine belt, whatever them called. That belt popped at least 3 times. We was on the YouTube and some stuff trying to figure that out. But guess who came to the rescue? So no matter what we say, knowing that, being that, and like I said in the Maslow, the second part that he talks about is being secure and having safety. And that's what I've had those things growing up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What I was going to say was a lot of times, and I can only tell you from what happened in my community and in my circle and the things that I saw, a lot of times as a young man, I watched a whole lot of black men get removed from the home. So there was no teaching like that. So the next generation don't know to provide that security. Mm-hmm. So as a community and as a person and in your own situation, I think we have to get back to teaching. All this stuff starts in the home. Notice everything started in the home.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we have to get back to that. Mm-hmm. Let's start teaching in the home. Teachers shouldn't be parents.
Exactly.
No, that's not their job.
That's not their job.
But their job is to teach and be an extension of the family, though.
Education.
Right.
There's more that goes on at school than education.
You're right. All your learning experiences go on at school, but the power and the main teaching needs to start back in the home.
Well, that be that village. That's what it is. The village is broke.
Yes.
And the village is. I don't expect a teacher to do everything. The teacher has a job. You have my support. If there's an issue, call me. Send me a note. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be there. But you don't even have to do that because I'm going to come and check without you even calling me.
There you go.
To make sure you're doing the right thing and make sure my children doing the right thing. So it's the village, and we need to fix the village.
And my mom used to sit in the school. Go ahead, sir. My mom used to sit in the school.
Well, we didn't have to be sitting in school because we bet not act up at school.
Well, I didn't know she was there.
Shit, my mama didn't even have to. Because she already made sure.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, I looked up. I was acting the fool. She was there. She gave me that look.
We didn't have no.
Uh-oh. Turn that around. Get right before you get yoked up.
Well, see, the thing with the other people, their main job is to break up the black family. To get that man out of that house, and if we got to lock him up, you should be locking up. Now it's what? Kill him.
Well, I think it was kill him, lock him up, then we back at killing. It was slavery, then it was lock him up, now we back at just kill him. 2022. I feel like it's just coming full circle.
Recycle.
And this is why we continue to talk about this is why I continue to talk about. I was talking to you yesterday and I said, I want to get on something else, but I can't. My heart and my passion won't let me get on anything else until we get this together, because we're not together, because the family unit is broken up. Then we got to get the family unit together, and then we could talk about the village. The village has to be there, but if you already understood personally what the village was about, your family was about, then you would just be, you wouldn't say stuff like love you that teachers shouldn't, because you would be already understand that, because everybody's part of the village, and we all should have one goal. And the one goal is to make sure that we are so the last stage he talks about is the self-actualization. I always say the actualization stage is where you get to your fullest potential, where you've had food, water, warmth, rest, you have security and safety, you have belongingness and love needs, intimate relationships, family relationships, you have those things, and now you can be the best you can be. You can't be the best you can be if any one of those steps are broken down, right? You can't. If I didn't have, I have a conversation with somebody that's close to me a lot, and I say that I respect. I'm like, again, I gotta say everything wasn't perfect, because sometimes people hear you say, because they did these things that everything was perfect, and I always felt. But what I do know as a grown adult is the reason why me and my brothers and sisters are at a stage where we're self-sufficient, or we've reached some parts of what we wanted to be, is because the basic foundations of the things that we needed was there. Does that make sense? You can have some other stuff in there, but if the basic foundation, and they're strong, they're like, I talk about spanking a lot in school, in class, and one day I sat there and I said, you know what? I be lying. because we didn't get spanked that much. Like, because you remember that, but I tell my mama this all the time. Oh, she used to talk so much. I used to be like, shut up. Why are you talking so much? Good grief. But now I find myself talking so much. But you learn the repetition, and the teachings is what helped me into who I am today. But when I think about it, I was like, we really didn't get whoopings that much. And if we did, we got a whole lot of talking during the whooping, before the whooping, after the whooping, however many times she had to say the same thing over and over and over again. She said that. But I was writing down some sayings, though. I'm going to mess with y'all real quick. So my mama's favorite saying was, right is right.
And wrong is wrong.
Listen, we would not get in trouble because we did it. We got in trouble because we lied about it.
Correct.
Then my dad wasn't playing no games. He said, don't let your mouth write a check that your butt cannot cash. Then he would always tell us, and then if you have a problem with it, pack your Glad bags. I used to be like, what is a Glad bag? Now that I got older and I buy Glad bags, I said, oh, he told us to get our trash bags and go on and go. You know, if y'all don't know how to do what I said do up in here, y'all get y'all stuff and go on those. So it was a happy balance. That's why we need to have both, right? My dad wasn't going to talk too much. And if he did say something, it might not have been the best correct way to say it, but I mean, sometimes you needed that said. Then my mama was going to come and smooth it out and talk your ear off. And you think it wasn't in there, but it was. And then if you had to get to a whooping, then we got to a whooping. But we didn't I don't even think I even got whooped after 12 or 13. I don't even know. Well, there's other stuff in there, but we'll talk about that later. But as far as how do you, let's get back to my dad. How do you make... What do you think the components of making it last and being able to lead?
Well, my thing is, if anything is wrong on my side, I got to correct it. I can't say I'm gonna go out and do this for us. You know, like when I went to rehab and all this stuff.
Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
You know, I had to go for me.
Glory to God. Okay, let me stop.
We've been apart a couple times, but
not long.
We had to work on each other, and then
or ourselves.
In the process, we came back together.
Let's talk about rehab. How long ago? That was. Was I 18? I might have been 18 years old, and I'm a young 21 at this. Well, you look good. But it was 8. I think that was like I was around about 18 with that. Okay, so I was at 18, 19.
About 98. Mm-hmm. So it's
I
been a good...
The last time I went...
It's been a good 20, almost 30 years.
I already know what happened. Sure did. I sure did call. I sure did. But that was to help. That wasn't about, like, let me call the police on you but you needed that help. I don't know if you remember what happened, but you were so drunk, fell off the bike, all of this stuff happened. And you needed to get that together. That needed to be something that, because we had dealt with this in our life, and that's another thing when you pay homage, even in your addictions, both of y'all. Mm-hmm. We didn't feel we still had food, water, rest, security, all of that stuff. But that's a whole testimony in itself. Y'all don't have to come back and talk about. That's a whole testimony in itself. But you do. I like that you said you have to be accountable. Is what I said. If something is going on with me, and that's one thing we talked about last week is black men especially, not being accountable for their actions. If you say you're going to do something, because my problem was follow through, but that's what accountability is. If you say you're going to do something and you deflect, when I say you say you're going to call me back, but you don't, I say, but you said you was going to call me back, and then now it's this, and this, and you, that's not accountability. And it ain't, and to me, it's not about did you call me back? That's what people hear. It's about did you do what you said you was going to do? That's it. It ain't about, so if people would get past what I'm actually saying, because this is my problem, and hear that, because that shows your account, that already shows it. So when we're in relationships and we're starting them, right, whether it's work or whatever, you be looking for what's going to work and what's not going to work. And some people don't take a look at themselves. I self-reflect all the time. If I said I'm going to call you back and you say you said you was going to call me back, all the answer to me is my bad. None of that other stuff matters, because how can you now...
Exactly. How
can you fix it if you don't see it?
Right.
But that's the difference between communicating and understanding what the person communicated to you. Like you said, it wasn't the words, the actual action. It was, you didn't do what you said you was going to do. That's something a lot of us don't understand. Not even just being in relationships, just being people towards each other. being friends. You like, if we've been friends for a long time and I say something and you get mad, well, I think at that point you took it personal instead of understanding what I was trying to tell you. So
Correct. I get it.
Because I think in relationships, it's a selfless act. I mean, it's about Ayanna. Me and my mama love fix my life.
Fix my life.
But she always say, you cannot take somebody's perception away. So if you take a time to listen to the perception, then maybe you'll change how you interact with them, especially if you love somebody in action. Here's my next question. What did you think it was important to teach us as we were growing up to help us to be the future people that I have 3 sisters and 1 brother. So what was important? Think back to, what was important for you guys to teach us?
Be a person of your word. Treat people like you want to be treated.
Stand it.
That was real important to me. Treat a person the way you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Education.
Education was important. And here was my thing. You definitely need to finish school. You need to go through all the grades, period. Now, I believe that you should try to go to college. You should maybe try to get a degree. However, that wasn't the important thing. You have to make that decision for yourself. But what you're going to do in my house
is at least finish 12th grade.
You're going to finish the 12th grade.
Listen, she told me all you got to do is graduate from school. You get out of here. I was in and out in high school in like a year and a half. I was in and out of that mud.
And then whether you want to go to college or not, that was a decision. In other words, that was a decision that I allowed you guys to make. But as far as finishing school was not your decision. I'm sorry. It was mine. That's what we're going to do.
I think nowadays it's a difference, too, because there's so many things that you can do without college. There's so many. Correct. Some people are creative entrepreneurs, and they don't. I mean, once you get the basic stuff down, I don't know. That don't mean.
You do need some type of skills with your hands, though.
Right.
You need some type of skill. You do need a skill that a machine can't do.
I always told them, have some kind of hustle.
Yes.
You got to have an honest one, but have some kind of hustle.
Yes.
Whether you know how to
she know I'm a hustler.
How to, design, decorate, and whatever job you get, I wouldn't care if it was McDonald's flipping burgers. Be the best one there.
That's what I'm.
Be the best one there.
My mama told me that too. If you're gonna do something, try to be the best at it. I do have a question though. I know you want to get back to yours.
No, how do you could?
I'm sitting. To me, I'm sitting in a room that is special to the host and to me too right now, because I don't get to see black love like this. And I just want to ask the man a question, because there's some things that
please ask.
I struggled with too as myself, and I just want to ask, when you're conversating or when you thinking about this lady that you love sitting next to you, do you let your pride influence the decisions that you make?
Actually, sometimes. I'm gonna say sometimes. But
well, I need you to get out his face.
I try to look at her side too.
Okay.
And then if I can do that before I speak,
we all good.
Any situation.
Okay.
But if I come right off the cuff,
pride is going to be an issue.
Might be wrong.
Y'all might not be talking for a week or two. Is that
it ain't gonna be that long, but it'll be some stillness in it.
You know what? I like that. I appreciate that answer. What I need y'all to appreciate in us is that we deal with the same thing, except it's easier for us to think through it. Because I always say, women, we sacrifice a lot, but we think through it before y'all listen. If he said if, but we think through that. That hurt my feelings, but let me not address it that way. Let me just tell you how. I may not want to do this, but he needs me to do that, so I do it. Right? And some of that stuff be prideful. Sometimes I'm gonna say I forgive before I forgive, so that I can present forgiveness. Does that make sense? So I think that's a really good question that you asked and a point that you made. But I need y'all to give some, we be working out here sweating and it be hard.
Us men working hard too. We gotta, like I said last week, we have a lot of things on our back too, and I think a lot of times we hold it in too much. Because there's no, we feel like we have nobody to talk it off with. We feel like, okay, if I go over here and talk it off with my homie, he gonna go over here and talk to the next homie about my issue. That's not what I need right now. What I need is for you to be a homie, not pass no judgment.
Correct.
And just listen to me. Now, if you want to interject and say, okay, homie, this is what I feel you should do, or this is a starting point for you, that's what friends are for. But for you to take that information and pass it on to the next person,
I think that also still comes back to growing up, because in our family, that's not how that go.
Right.
My mom, we be in neutral, like we act like me and my sisters, we all gonna call my mama and tell. Everybody gonna call and tell, but nobody. You don't know that. My mom be like, oh really? And then what happened? Well, the thing is here, and she done heard about it. But even in my boys, they don't gossip. They don't do all of that. I think that has to do with
there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of insecurities with men, and we have to find a way to work those out. But you know what, too? On the flip side of that, we need those avenues to work those out.
Well, what are those avenues? That's the point.
You have to find them. You have to find, good people you could talk with, and people who understand, some of the things that you've went through, because you can't advise a person if you never went there.
You could always say everybody's qualified to give an opinion, but not everybody's qualified.
Opinion. I said advice.
Yeah, that's
can I say? Because I say it all the time. Everybody's qualified to give an opinion, but not everybody's qualified to give an advice. So you have to be careful. So I tell my mom all this. There's very few people. Well, there's only one person for real. I think I've told you this. I'm gonna go ask my mama. Now, and anybody else, because I already know 1 is going to be neutral, 2 is going to be of God, and 3 is going to be in my best interest. And it's really reflective questions. I remember I was having an issue with my sister one time, and my mama said to me, she said, you need to figure out why that bothers you so much inside of you. And ever since then, I was released. I said, I don't have to worry about not how she feels, but what she thinks about me, because that's my older sister. As I've gotten older, I'm like, now I understand her, and I understand our relationship, because the older sister is always like your mama. So you don't see her as your mom because she ain't your mama. You understand what I'm saying?
I did.
So you don't see her as your mom, and I think sisters might be different, but you don't see her as your mom because that's not your mom. And so, but I understand her dilemma now. I understand her dilemma, and now I'm like, well, I don't have to. I mean, I still, if I want to be seen a certain type of way, but I don't have to feel like, I don't know, I have to live up to her. I don't even know how to explain it, but I was just released. But my mom there's always a reflective question. One advice she gave me about relationships, y'all listen to this. She said, at the end of the day, is that the one who you want to come home to at the end of the night?
Ooh.
And she said that my dad is that for her.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't think that's for me, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to release myself from this one, because that's not. But that was some good advice. But just like in marriage counseling, they said if they never change, would you still want to marry this person?
That's deep.
So I think that was a good thing. Like, do we have, because listen, y'all know about the 80-20 rule. Sometimes we have this 80%, then we out here looking for our 20, and then we go get that grass and it's concrete with grass over because it's your 20%.
See, that's quicksand.
Quicksand.
Quicksand make you sink.
Quicksand. But if it's the 80-20 rule, like a lot of times we have our 80 and we have to focus on that, and then we could work on that 20%, but maybe you might not never get that. And is that okay? That's what I'm looking for in this next thing that we do. Because, listen, we going to rock this thing till the wheels fall off the next one, or else I'm done. I ain't got time. I'm getting old, y'all. I'm a young 21. I got a few more years that I could be rocking.
Right.
Just a few more.
Couple more on the rope.
You got any more questions?
No, that was the most important question to me. I really wanted to get another male's answers that actually went through some things, because I got brothers out there, but, I got brothers, uncles, and everything. But what I'm seeing right now is, y'all, this is amazing.
See, the thing.
Go ahead.
The thing is, like, say me and you talk.
Y'all might need to exchange numbers.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But you going to say, turn it around. The whole conversation got to turn around back to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that. I need me and you talk about my problem, then we work on yours.
That's right. I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
My wife tells me, say, how come you ain't got no whole bunch of male friends? I don't need no whole bunch of male friends. Because they'll steer me wrong. Especially if they single. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And I'll be saying like, no, they either want something from you, trying to get
here
something. You know, I'm not with that. You know?
Yes, sir.
So I got a few friends I can call and talk to.
Uh-huh.
You know, and that's all I need. I need a partner. Or a little bit of advice. I don't need no whole bond.
Right.
You know, so that's what I'm
Can I say this real quick? And it's on what you're saying. Here's the thing about talking to, even for women, and I hope you know that there's some people that'll tune into this. You don't need a lot of friends. I have maybe a handful, maybe about 5 really good friends. And here's how I look at that. When I have a conversation with them, they're the ones, and especially my friend Jackie. I've been knowing her for almost 50 years. And when she comes to me and tell me something about me, now, I won't say I won't get in my feelings for a minute. I might.
For a minute.
But this is what I know about Jackie. She didn't have any motive but love.
Yeah,
she told me out of love.
Yep.
And so I got to step back and listen
evaluate
what she just told me. And I'm the same way with her and my other friends.
And everybody
I talk
you
to
deal
them
with.
out of love. And I don't. Here's the thing. When you have somebody that yes everything you say and do,
No, I'm good.
I'm going to have to check them because I know I got
I know
some
something
stinking
wrong.
thinking. And I know I do some things wrong. And you validating that, then you not being real with me. And I'm going to have to look at you a little differently. You not the one that I need to be talking to.
But I think that growth hurts.
Exactly.
So I remember when I was going through my growth process. So because I was, listen, if y'all knew me about 15 years ago, about 15 years ago, I'll say, because I think I started my healing process 2009. I wasn't the same person. And I remember going through a healing, and I remember God, every time I thought I had got over one thing he said I was stinky about, it was another thing and 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 another. I was like, good grief. And so here's, when people try to come to me and they say stuff about me, this is one thing I'm going to say. I am secure and confident in who I am today. The woman I am today, I can call myself a woman today. Back then I was a little girl trying to be a woman, right? And I was very emotionally immature. But I have a person in my life that always like, you're disrespectful. Not at all. Disrespectful means I'm incorrect. I just told y'all my mama's favorite saying was right is right and wrong is wrong. Now, could I get disrespectful? I can, but it takes a lot because there's no malice, there's no ill will. So, but I do evaluate what somebody say. If they can, because a lot of people have stuff to say about you but can't give you no examples. You understand what I'm saying? So if you say I'm immature, or you say I'm disrespectful, where's your examples? And if your examples is just your feelings got hurt at truth, that doesn't make me disrespectful at all. And I think a lot of people have a problem with truth. A lot of people run around in their feelings.
That's
and
what
so
it is.
when you become secure, though, you're not, like you said, you get in your feelings, but I'm not in my feelings.
Right, exactly.
When somebody say something first, so I was really trying to struggle with, was I disrespectful with this person telling me this? And I came to the conclusion, like, no, that's not that what I, and the examples were not disrespectful. They were things that you did, somebody needed to tell somebody, and that would help them grow. And I'm just bold enough to do it. So we just have to be able to do that. So in my closing, I want y'all to remember that Black love still exists.
Yes, it does.
Black love still exists. You can love and need and want your baby. You can do all of that, right?
Sing it.
Black love still exists. We need to now start to figure out how we're going to change the trajectory of what's going on.
Yes, we gotta flip some things. We gotta learn how to not put ourselves in certain situations.
So listen, if y'all want to get in touch with me, y'all heard all my things. Tameca Howell, just go. I think you're at
Flip the Convo everything.
How can we find you?
Flip the Convo on Instagram. Flip the Convo on Facebook. Or we also, if you want to just tap in and leave me some information on the questions, we also got Flip the Convo, Mr. Conversation at Gmail. You can be anonymous. Send it anonymous. We could just conversate and build each other.
we gonna converse. But how? So my mom and dad, y'all can't have access to them because we already done told y'all at the beginning. Y'all need to leave them alone. But y'all can call me. Y'all can call me, and then we'll be able to get the questions answered. But let's flip the convo, and we out this piece.
I love that.
That's it.
We out. Yep.
We all, okay.
I thought you was on YouTube too.